Raw and Nerdy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Raw and Nerdy. This is episode number 40. We are the Big 4-0, Rook.
No, I'm the Big 4-0 as of last Tuesday.
Yeah, and that it kind of fits because you recently turned 40. Our show turned 40. The correlation is unparalleled. I am Joe the Widget, and I am joined by my fellow co-host, Mr. Rook.
What's up, everybody? As you just heard, I just recently had my birthday 2 days before the USA had its birthday, so it sounds like a good week. Let's get on with it.
Archon could not make it today. He's got some family matters to deal with, and one of them we wish him the best on. And happy birthday, Maddie, sweet 16.
Happy birthday. That's all you're getting.
Yeah, because we don't want copyright infringement laws. That would be nasty. Man, it's expensive, too.
I just can't believe that one song is still maintained under copyright.
Yes, sir, it is.
We need to come
annoying.
We need to come up with a new birthday song and put it in public domain and somehow make it where nobody can copyright it. Or we just copyright it and not charge the people the ability to use it.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I'm terrible at writing music, so good luck.
Happy birthday.
I tried writing some short songs to put in my books. Yeah, it didn't work out too well, so I kind of cut them out.
Good. I would disown all of your books if that was the case, if you ever put those in there. That's the one part I hate about those in novels is because you don't know how the author originally had the theme to those works in their head.
Yeah.
And so you don't know how you're supposed to read it.
Yeah, it doesn't translate very well, that's for sure. So this week, Rook had his birthday. I was over at his place for the 4th of July, and we hung out all day, mostly playing MLB 23, the show on his PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm. It was fun.
Yeah.
Then we did that again today.
And got to the World Series.
Today, the day of recording. Made it to the World Series.
We had 135 wins or something like that?
130 with 30 losses, I believe.
Yeah, all but 2 of those losses
32 losses.
Were the computer.
130 wins, 32 losses.
Which is insane. So we didn't play every single game. There's just way too much. We did sim through a few of them. And only the ones that we lost were the sim through ones. Except for 2 of them.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, we played almost every single game. And I was like, you know what? I'm leaving soon. We need to get through this. So we just simmed to where Wigit's character was pitching. And I simmed every other game.
On the 4th of July, I even pitched a perfect game. And to close out the 9th inning, I threw an immaculate inning.
I know, that was the best inning to the game.
And one thing I love about how they do that game is that we were playing as the Texas Rangers. All you haters can stop. We were in the home stadium when it was happening, and you can see the crowd and the fans actually get more and more and more excited as the time went on until everyone was up, standing up in the entire stadium cheering.
Yeah, that's one of those small nuances that MLB 23 to show that Sony's San Diego studios actually does a good job with. It was one of those. If something exciting is about to happen, you'll see I would say 80% of the fans in the stands standing. Mm-hmm. But in this situation, I noticed in the background that nobody was sitting because we're pitching from behind the pitcher view, so you can see the people who are right behind home plate. But when the ball got hit out or fouled out, you could see that everybody was standing. There was nobody sitting in any seat, which isn't usually the case with this game. Everybody is more like a real game where you got some people standing, some people sitting, depending upon the team and whatnot. And it was just getting louder and louder from the fans. I'm like, okay, so they actually went into detail when you're about to do some amazing thing.
Yeah, and I noticed it a lot with the people standing behind home plate. Was that as I was pitching, as I started doing more and more, as we got more and more hits and runs, because we finished the game at 13-0.
Mm-hmm.
We had several home runs, manufactured a whole ton. We were on point with that game. Rook handles all the outfield, all the fielding. I do the pitching, and we alternate batting.
Now, yes, we are not playing on the hardest difficulty in the game. The baseball is we would never be able to play and get frustrated and shut the game off if that was the case. So, yes, we do have it set to easier settings.
Normal settings. Play the game as it was intended. So
Nah, we're a little bit easier than normal setting.
it's been so much fun that I think yeah, it's still a good challenge. We're not getting easy pitches or anything like that, or throwing anything easy.
Mm-mm.
It's nothing easy about it. It's work. There's many innings where we either struck out or got flied out or basically no scores.
One of the best thing about this game, and the reason why me and Widget play it a lot, is because it's a true co-op game when you're
Yeah.
doing, most say couch co-op, because there's not split screen. You're both on the same screen when you're operating. But
That's one thing I loved about one of my previous favorite sports games ever was NHL Hits on the GameCube was because you created your characters, your players. And it was a 3-man team and you created your own team and you created your own home city and you played in the actual NHL for the full league and me and my two buddies played that constantly. I think we did 2 seasons of it.
mm-hmm.
And MLB, the show, does pretty much the same thing. Like me and Rook, we put ourselves in the game. I'm playing as a pitcher. I was a closing pitcher in high school and junior high, and not near as good as my on-screen persona. Not near as fast. But I was able to put in all the pitches I used to throw, and I was able to actually get the style I used to pitch in, and the character looks like me. And when I'm pitching with him, it feels like I'm pitching. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's fun. The level of detail in that game is awesome. So yeah, Madden, you can sit there play 2-player, but if the person isn't familiar with running routes as a receiver or being a running back, you got your player that's the quarterback, and the other player has to run a route and hope you throw the ball to him. With baseball and MLB 23 to show particular,
Mm-hmm.
batting is alternate. So whoever is on base, when you get a hit and you get on base, the next player goes up next. Whoever is on not batting, whatever player's not batting, is controlling the runners.
Yeah.
And then, like Widget said, I do all the fielding while he, except for the pitcher, because that's his character, he does all the pitching. So it's a really good balance of who's controlling what. And
Yep.
it's not like one of those like Madden where, all right, I'm playing the quarterback. You got to be on one of these other players, and hopefully I give you the ball. No,
One of these days, we're going to have to record it as we play. Because one thing we talked about, because Rook's moving to Texas here really soon, is we talked about getting it on Xbox app, and I'll get a controller, he'll get a controller, and we can still play seasons together.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we're definitely going to do, and I could probably record some of our games doing that.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty cool. Or we could actually just stream it on Twitch.
Yeah, there is that too. Can definitely do that. So that was what we'd spent a lot of time with. We also played Hearthstone Battlegrounds, obviously. That's one of the things that we've been hooked on lately.
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
What else you been up to, man?
Well, my house. Let's be honest. I've been slacking. I got a lot I got to do. This week, all my stuff's going to be out of the house. The carpet will be changed. Hopefully, I get the new screen for my patio. I need to replace one of the screens for one of the windows. And then I just need to do a lot of touch-up painting. But I'm going to wait until after I have the cleaners come in on the 11th. Let's see, 8, 9, no, the 10th. They're coming in on the 10th. Once they're done cleaning certain areas, I'm going to actually hit those walls with a fresh touch-up coat of paint. And then go from there. Because then I'll know exactly what I have to do in my house still. But the biggest thing is tomorrow getting everything packed up, moved into my kitchen and garage, so that way the carpet guys can come in and replace all the carpet.
Yeah, that sounds like a whole lot of fun, man.
I'm not doing it. They're doing it.
Yeah.
Luckily, they're going to be doing it in an AC'd house and not one where I'm just going to turn the AC off and make them suffer.
Well, you can't. We've had this insane heat wave here in Southern California.
It's actually over the entire U.S. It's a massive heat wave.
It's hitting us pretty hard, though. Like, today's 112, and it's supposed to be over 110 for the next 2 weeks.
That was only next week.
They extended it until the middle of, I think, around the 20th. I have to look at it, but...
And for those of us who are listening in Texas...
Oh, it's July 13th.
Thoughts and prayers go out to those in Texas that are about to get hit by Hurricane Beryl.
Oh, yeah. That's always harsh.
Yeah. It's about to hit. They're expecting it to be a hurricane when it hits. But back to what I was looking up. All right. So yeah, we're hot. Really, really hot. Actually, it's fairly hot across the U.S. Right now in Southern California, we're in the triple digits. Texas is, depending upon where you're at, is triple digits to the upper 90s. Up north is where you're in your 70s, and out east you're in your 70s right now because it's at night. But I have a friend in Pennsylvania who said it was in the 90s today with high humidity. So yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
weather's terrible. It's
so
hot.
I'm actually recording with my AC off, fans off, so I don't get any audio backlash. And it's I want to melt. We were outside
Hey,
moving his car, and
you
that was
could
fun.
have just sat here, recorded on this one speaker where it wouldn't have picked up everything.
Nah, I had to get home. I had things to do.
But
I
yeah,
was
it's been hot.
I was talking about last week of this book I was reading or listening to on Audible, Heretical Fishing, and I complained about it last week. But the more I got into it and I actually finished the book, I actually really enjoyed it. So I went and actually pre-ordered the second one, which was supposed to come out in 2 days. Yeah,
Hmm?
I'd actually give it a good 7 out of 10. It was pretty decent.
Nah, I had to check it out one of these days. So what's been going on in your week besides the book?
That's it. Pretty much just work, 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 and then
Work, work, work
yeah,
all week
I,
long.
what we talked about, MLB the Show, and then playing Hearthstone, talking to some of our listeners in Discord, and also doing my fitness thing. I'm keeping pace, doing my workouts every 5 days a week, taking Tuesdays and Fridays off, and even on those days, I still catch myself doing push-ups, doing planks, which is still the funniest thing in the world, shaking like a leaf. And it's been really cool seeing the
Mhm.
fitness challenge in our Discord as well, because a lot of people are getting into it. A lot of people who weren't considering working out, eating better, have started doing so, and said that channel and our talking has been an inspiration to do so. So I think that's really awesome.
Nice. So I read an article. I'm looking it back up right now because recently on Hearthstone, there have been over 130,000 people get banned from Hearthstone.
Cheating?
Hmm.
We've seen plenty of that.
Yeah, it's crazy because there's no reason to cheat. I don't like that people find it on these kind of online games that they need to cheat. But Blizzard's cracking down on it, thankfully. They're cracking down on it. They're coming up with new techniques, all that. So I'm glad to see that somebody's doing something. But why can't we just be people who just play games to relax, whether you win or lose, and just do it for fun?
I don't get it either. They have to be competitive, even though there's no real esports or anything for battlegrounds.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood the whole cheating thing and how popular it is using the apps that they can use in the background. Streamers
Yeah.
do it to make themselves look better on stream, which is stupid.
I get that. I get the streamers doing it to make themselves look good, but at the same time, you're affecting other people's gameplay, not just your own. So why do it?
I
It,
think
it
you and I have
doesn't make
lost
any point.
probably like 5 or 6 at least due to cheating.
Hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. Even I've watched videos on people cheating, and the fact that a big business out there is making this cheat software for people to use, and then you get caught and you get permanent your IP address, and in some cases your Mac address gets banned permanently from their server. And if your Mac address gets banned, you're banned. You can't get into the servers. Period.
Yeah, that's something. That's a topic we get into big time. Is the whole cheating community and why they do it and how disgraceful it is.
Hmm.
I have a hard time even cheating on one-player games where it doesn't affect anybody but me. I still won't do it. it's
I think we had this discussion quite a few times on Starfield Raw because of the mods and what they classify as cheating on there.
yeah, pretty much.
I don't run mods that cheat the game. I'll do mods that change appearances of things, but I will not run any mods that changes stats or anything like that. I don't like it. I have played. So there are some games where I will cheat. I won't lie. Knights of the Old Republic was one. And what I would do is I would literally roll 46, keep highest 3 for all my stats, and then set up my character stats with those. So I'm a quote unquote heroic player. Like you can do one of the optional rules in D&D. So I do that because it makes the game more fun to me when I've already beaten the game.
Okay, I get that. But in a game like Starfield, there's not really any beating it per se.
No, there's not.
There's situations where I see where it can be necessary, like what happened with Kilo. But you can go listen to our last episode of Starfield Raw, and you can hear about that. That was crazy.
Yeah, that's a time. That's a really rare circumstance where I would be okay with somebody cheating.
All right, so we got some stuff in the news.
A lot of stuff in the news.
Yeah, a lot of space stuff too, which is really cool, and sciencey stuff.
Like
Most,
how I broke down our notes.
no, it's confusing. Let's get into it. So in tech, you have one starting up right here.
Oh yeah, the Google search ranks AI spam above original reporting news results. So, as we were worried about before, there is a bunch of word I'm looking for. AI articles out there that just plagiarize just for the clickbait, so you'll click on it. All these articles for different things, and Google search, even though Google's trying to crack down on it and adjusting their policies to target the AI spam, they're still having issues with the AI spam being ranked above original reporting in the new results, and they're not sure why. Now, the problem with this is as we know, AI is still a newer thing. It doesn't give you all the correct information. It takes things from a bunch of different areas and pieces it together willy-nilly.
Yeah, you have to use the term AI in a very loose form.
Yeah, you have to use it in a very loose form. It's more like, what do I want to call it? Not AI, but, well, by definition, it is an AI, but it's a very rudimentary AI.
Smart programming language.
It's exactly what it is. It's a language model is all it is. So they were searching for Adobe's artificial intelligence policies. Person writing this article typed Adobe train AI content into Google and switched over to the news tab. And he'd already seen Wired's coverage of that appeared on the results page in the second position. Adobe says it won't train AI using artists' work. Creatives aren't convinced. And although the writer didn't recognize the name of the publication whose story sat at the very top of the results, Cyrus blog, the headline on the article hit me with a wave of deja vu because it said the exact same thing, adding a few more words. So, and then they put the screenshot showing your two articles. It's not real stuff, and it's just a quick way, because of ads and stuff on the pages, if AI is being put over actual creative work, that just means that they're going to get money and the original creators aren't going to get anything. So I found that interesting and disturbing that is still being done in that way.
Yeah, it is.
But that was the only tech one I had.
Yeah, I had an article up there for batteries, but we kind of already covered it in a previous episode. It's just becoming more mainstream now. They're basically non-lithium, non-ion batteries.
Yeah, because lithium is very dangerous to the planet for mining it because you got to strip mine and all that.
They hold more power. They're smaller. But yeah, they're going to be used in cars and such in the near future, and they're going to be a lot cheaper to manufacture. So the price of electric cars and things like that will be going down. But
there is an actual work with me. Hang in here with me. There is a motor vehicle company out there that's making batteries that has a proof of concept, and I'm trying to find out what's going on with it because they are making a new battery that they claim and have proven can charge pretty fast.
Well, this battery that they're making now is pretty much on that point. It charges at 1/3 the time and speed of lithium ions. So we'll see. And that one's actually going to manufacturing soon.
Oh, they renamed it NXU Inc. That's why I can't find their stuff.
A new planet that was discovered a little while ago, but they found new information about. It's 120 light years from Earth, so it would take us a few generations to get there if we decide to go with our current technology. And it's roughly 2.6 times the size of Earth. It's called K2-18b. It was found to have methane and carbon dioxide in its atmosphere recently, which was measured by JWST, so the telescope, the James Webb Telescope, which has instruments that'll
Hmm.
measure that stuff. And the planet is considered a front runner for being potential habitable and is covered by an actual ocean. Now, mind you, we don't know exactly what that ocean is made of, but their strongest guess is just water, H2O. And the thing about that really got people excited was the fact that methane is a common occurrence, like me and Rook talked about earlier off air. In most planets, it's a natural gas. But on the flip side of that, carbon dioxide can be as well, but a lot less so. In order for
Hmm.
to have high content of carbon dioxide in atmosphere, it requires biological. And the fact they found high contents or high concentrations of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, it's now the highest potential to have some form of life on that planet. Whether it be plants, animals, micro, we don't know. But the chances of it being just micro is slim. It's most likely going to be plant.
Yeah, possibly. Or some sort of microbes.
Yeah. It has the highest potential of any planet that we have discovered so far, which is really, really cool. The odds of that, so finding a planet that has very similar conditions to Earth is extremely slim. And this summer, if you're a stargazer, you may see what looks like a new star in the Corona Borealis constellation, but it's not. It's actually a more super rare event called a nova eruption, and that's going to be
Hmm.
occurring about 3,000 light years from Earth, and it's considered a super rare event, actually. The estimate is that it will be able to be seen for a few days to a week. It will look like a regular star for a low power telescope or binoculars, but if you have a high powered, it's going to look a bit different. They don't have an exact time yet when it's going to occur, but it's estimated to happen this summer. Once in a lifetime type thing.
Well, let's be honest. This happened 3,000 years ago.
Well, it did, but now we're going to actually see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't already know, when you look into space and everything you see in space, outside of everything in our current vicinity of Earth, is happening in the past because that's how long it takes light to travel. All right, so yeah, that's going to be really cool. But what's even cooler is if you ever looked at the moon through a telescope and noticed these swirl patterns on the moon, lighter colored swirl panel, swirl.
I read
What's
this
the word?
article earlier this week, actually.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. So there's swirl patterns that are lighter colors than everything else, and based on data from spacecraft and recent models, they believe the swirls are magnetized. And that's the reason why they're still lighter colored while all the rocks and everything around them are darker because the magnetic field from these rocks deflects and redirects solar winds and particles to the other non magnetized rocks. Well, researcher Michael J. Krasinski, I apologize if you happen to listen to us and I butchered your name. He believes that there may, based on some other theories, that there may be lava flows underground of the moon slowly cooling slowly in a magnetic field and creating that magnetic anomaly around those swirls. So when I saw that, I thought it was really cool that the moon actually might have residual magma flow still.
I don't know how they'd measure that. I don't know how it would even have that. That'd be interesting to
Well,
see.
the article does go on and say that no moon landing party has ever had a chance to go explore these. So the only way we could really tell is if we actually went boots on ground or boots on the lunar surface and actually went to the swirls and actually checked them out.
Actually, I think they could actually point the James Webb right back at it and see.
Hey, I can see really clear way out here. What's right in my backyard?
Exactly.
Whoa.
Use the infrared, man. Check it out.
I know, right? On a biology note, though, there's a bizarre video out there, and I started watching it and I had to turn it off because it's just weird. So, this researcher went and put, I don't know what they used to watch people's eyeballs for a period of time, but at this university, they put uh, some device to monitor a person's eyeballs. So, and then they put a big collage of them on a YouTube video where you can see all the eyes. And what they were doing was they're measuring the shrinkage of pupils and how quickly they react to light changes. And it showed that yes, your over decades, each decade they say it's like 0.4 millimeters. Your eyes pupils shrink, and they get less responsive to light, and that's why as you get older, your eyes don't adjust as quickly to the dark as they did back in when you're younger. Yes, I find this stuff about the human body really fascinating. So sue me.
I know
Don't
I'm total colorblind, so
Yeah, but your eye still reacts to light.
barely, but it does.
Well, because you're ancient.
I bring in too much light. That's my problem. Because how color works is the light rays bounce off your retina in certain patterns, which create color, different levels of light. And my eyes take in half of those rays that normal people would actually see color from. So I don't see those
You're
colors.
missing half of your it's either rods or cones.
The cornea?
Yeah, rods or cones on the back of your eye. You don't have the correct amount, or you don't have the right ones. One of the two. I forgot which one it is.
A cool side effect, though, is I can see really well in the dark.
Yeah, because in dark you see black and white.
Well, it's because my eyes take in so much light. If there's any kind of light source, it illuminates everything like a cat.
Yeah, but that's natural for everybody with light-colored eyes. If lighter eyes have been scientifically proven to be able to see better in the dark than darker-colored eyes.
And if you have severe color blindness, you can too.
Yeah, but your lights are light-colored. They're not that dark.
According to my optometrist, who spent 12 years in study on this.
And according to the scientists I did research papers with, anyhow, we'll not argue about that. Also, in biology, this is about the coronavirus and COVID-19, but it's actually really cool. There's actually a little studied gene in your body called the HLA-DQA2. It is an immunity gene, and it's suspected as a big reason some people have never had a sustained infection from COVID-19. The study of this gene gives a detailed look at how the immune system responds to the coronavirus. Based on the study, it leads researchers to believe that a variation in how that gene responds affects whether some people get sick from the virus or not. That's actually really cool, in my opinion.
I avoided this article because it was COVID-19 based. I'm so tired of that.
I don't care if it's COVID-19 based. I did it because it's immune system based. And if you look at my next article I'm going to talk about, it's also immune system based.
Yeah, T cells.
Yeah, so it's actually really cool. Yeah, it's COVID-19 based on the article, but it's actually leads them into other ways as to how the immune system works and responds to things. And it's getting them to actually start paying attention to more of the genes inside that affect our immune system. The next one is about T cells. So there are some new T cells and genes that are related to your immune disorders that have been discovered by scientists. The T cells are called helper T cells, which are special white blood cells that make up a large part of your immune system. They identify the pathogens and other things and regulate the immune response. Recent studies have shown that rare and specialized types of T cells exist, and they might be related to immune-mediated diseases and are causing the body to attack its own cells. I put the definition of immune-mediated diseases because everybody is used to calling them immune disorders. But immune-mediated diseases are a group of conditions that occur when the immune system malfunctions and attacks the body's own cells. So they're hoping that learning more about these and identifying these rare T cells, they can actually help them come up with treatments for autoimmune disorders. So I thought that's cool that they're actually starting to identify more of this stuff. Now,
There's advancements in medical science occurring all the time, and I love it.
A lot more now that you have access to actually see the studies versus when me and you were growing up where you had to go find these publications and actually read them in
these weird places called libraries?
Not every library has them, though.
Yeah, well, mostly college campuses, things like that.
Yeah, I didn't have a reason to go to college campuses when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. So, you're a fan of Elden Ring, are you not?
No.
No, yeah. No, you're a fan of that one survival game that I don't play.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it.
There's a few of them I like Enshrouded.
That's the one. All right, so for those of you interested in Elden Ring, there is a fan of Elden Ring who designed and 3D printed a custom chess set featuring different characters from the game. It looks really cool, and what's awesome about it is he has the 3D models online. If I can remember what the article is, there it is. Yeah, it's created by YouTuber Noggi, Noggi, and they shared a video on YouTube about it. They're incredibly detailed, and I just want to know how long it took them to model these because that's crazy. He does show you the process of creating them, but I didn't go deep into the video because I had a show to do.
Yeah. Another really cool toy thing that I recently read, I didn't have time to put in the show notes, but at Comic Con 2024 in San Diego, there's a special release toy set coming out just for that event. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles black and white original sketch comic figures.
Ooh, I saw that.
Yeah, and that looks completely BA. They look like actual black and white comic figures in 3D, but with the red mask. And it's the original sketches from the original, what was it, Mirage Comics, I believe, did it.
Mm-hmm. Way back
They
in the
look
day.
awesome. And unfortunately, though, if you didn't go to San Diego Comic Con, it's going to be a fortune to find them online.
And unfortunately for us, we don't get to go to San Diego Con. Yeah.
Another thing I saw was interesting was that Lego's doing a new a movie series sets, and the first one they're doing, other than Star Wars and the big ones like that, they're doing Jaws.
Oh yeah, I saw the Jaws article. That actually does look. It looked cool.
What the heck, Lego?
Lego makes sets for almost any kind of movie out there.
Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Lego.
Don't get you long.
I actually had the space shuttle. I'm all over the place right now. It's way too hot in my room. It's like 100 degrees in my room right now. I'm dying. But I had to discover space shuttle Lego set that was very expensive. Took me 3 days to build. It was awesome, but I'm mostly into Technic. So like the
go to the
Legos.
Like go to Lego store and buy the Fast and the Furious Technic sets.
I looked at those. I looked at them. I'm not gonna lie.
Actually, I watched Lego Masters, and they actually had a sports car on there, designed completely from Technic with a running motor. It can go up to 30 miles an hour.
Did you see on Geek Tyrant that they had a video of the original making documentary of the classic 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies?
Dude, I've seen so many documentaries on that.
Yeah.
And we talked to one of the original script writers.
The original script writer.
I wish they would have. I want to know how much of his original script. I don't remember if we actually asked him, but yeah, but that's actually pretty cool that they keep doing documentaries because it's just awesome.
It's popular.
Why not? It's the Ninja Turtles. They have to be popular.
Go Ninja, go. Oh.
So,
sorry.
We're both Star Trek fans.
Uh-huh. We've made that very clear.
Yeah. So Star Trek Voyager has one character that if you actually pay attention to his acting while it's going on, he starts just being blah about everything. And it's Chakotay, the Native American character that really annoyed a lot of Native Americans because of the actions of Paramount when it comes to the person they hired to be their expert, who was known before they actually did the show that he was a Jewish guy that was scamming people. So the character, after I think the third season, he started getting less and less, and the actor started getting less and less interested in the character. Well, they explained why, in a way, in Star Trek Prodigy. So in season 2, Star Trek Prodigy, I can't say the word now. Star Trek Prodigy gives Chakotay a purpose his character never had on Voyager.
For those who don't know, he was the first officer to Captain Janeway in Voyager series.
Yes, very much so. And for decades, he represented one of Star Trek's greatest failures. He was introduced as the franchise's first native lead character. It was supposed to be a course correction from the original series and the Next Generation. Whatever the producers wanted to do, they just made it worse. Not only did they fail to cast a native actor in the part, because Robert Beltran, the actor, is Mexican American, not Native American, but they hired a scam artist who called himself Jamake Highwater as a consultant on the character, despite the fact that he'd already been exposed as a Jewish man who pretended to be native. So, producers lost interest in the character after the third season, giving him less to do, which frustrated the actor, Beltran, and hoping he'd get released. He just kept demanding more money. They always agreed, so he kept getting more money for a character that doesn't do much. But his tone of voice and how he responded in the series, you could tell he was getting tired of the character. Well, in the modern sequel series, Prodigy, the animated one, it made not likely that Chakotay would make an appearance in Star Trek, but in Prodigy, Janeway's search for her former XO is a key plot point. So imagine Trekker's surprise when the Prodigy kids finally find Chakotay in season 2, and that he is actually a complete BA now. So the reason why he was the way he was, and the reason why he joined the Maquis, and they explain it in Prodigy, is awesome, because he was looking for, what's the word I'm looking for? Purpose. He is looking for direction. He's looking for purpose. So I don't want to really spoil it, but they actually go into great detail as to how the first, I don't know if it was few episodes or the first episode or two with Chakotay, you can hear it at the beginning of the storyline. He's given Beltran, they used Beltran for the voice acting, just like they used, what's her name for Janeway?
I don't never remember the actors' names.
I can't remember her name. I used to know it right off the top of my head. Now I can't remember it. Beltran did the voice acting, and he gave the same flight effect he used in the later season of Voyager when the character had no reason to exist in the series. But once Chakotay actually starts finding his purpose, and Beltran actually starts seeing there is a purpose for this character now, he actually starts getting into the character more, and the character becomes full-fleshed, and it's awesome that now he has purpose, and they have actually hashed it out, and they're actually doing more with the character now.
That's cool. I still need to watch that series. I haven't.
You haven't watched that series?
Nope. It's one of the only ones I have not.
I've watched every Star Trek series, including Discovery.
Isn't Prodigy one of the animated series?
Yes.
That's probably why I haven't.
That's actually not a bad series. They actually do some really cool stuff with the animated series.
The only animated series I've ever liked that was based off one of the popular TV shows I really like was Lower Decks. That one's funny and awesome.
Yeah, because it's Star Trek making fun of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Problem I have with that, though, is they're still using officers and not talking about the little peons that actually make the ship operate. The enlisted people.
They're not officers. That's the whole point.
Yes, they are.
Well,
they are officers.
In later seasons, they become one. They are not prior.
Could have sworn they're all ensigns. Biggest system-selling video games ever. It's the games that actually people went out and bought systems for. I just forgot the hyphen between system selling.
All right. Either way, I don't know if I agree with the Wii one, because Wii Sports was packaged in with the system.
Yeah.
That one doesn't make any sense. They should have put in something that was actually sold separate from the systems.
I don't know. A lot of people I know that had got the Wii personally got it originally because of the not necessarily the sports. You're right. It's more of the party games they came with.
Mm-hmm.
Like what was it, Mario Party?
Yeah,
I think it was more so those over Wii Sports.
That was a big seller for those.
Atari 2600. Do you agree with Space Invaders being the one for that one?
Absolutely. It was one of the most popular games in the 80s by far.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the arcades.
Oh, it wasn't Pong?
In the arcades, Space Invaders is one of the highest grossing of all time when it comes to quarter per play.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes perfect sense.
Oh, yeah. And of course, everybody knows Super Mario Brothers is the reason you got the NES, the SNES, and the N64.
I still remember playing that for the very first time at my grandma's house after she bought it. My mind was completely blown.
My very first video game system was the SNES, and Super Mario World was not the reason. Granted, I had that game, but my mom also got Breath of Fire, and that was the game we played more.
My favorite game on the SNES, other than my RPGs, originally was Pilot Wings.
Ooh, I forgot about that game.
Love that thing.
It was interesting. What
My
about
other, huh?
They didn't put GameCube on here.
No, which it would have been probably Mario Party.
Yeah, Mario Party or Zelda.
On GameCube, though, for me, it was Tiger Woods Golf.
Of course, you keep telling me I should get that for my GameCube.
I'm telling you, man, where you can make your character and you can have more than two people or more playing in an actual PGA Tour.
Yeah,
it's the best golf game I've ever.
I don't know why they go away from that stuff these days. Like people don't want to play, so we have to work around. But no, N64, Super Mario 64,
which makes perfect sense. It was the first 3D video game platform. Mm-hmm. It was a huge success. I mean, I beat the snot out of that thing. I got every star you could get, and it took me a year to do all that, playing that stupid game.
So I honestly, I never really played Super Mario 64 much. When I played the N64, it was Star Wars, Shadows of the Empire, dun 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 dun. I can't remember the name of it. GoldenEye.
Oh yeah, GoldenEye was a big one. There's obviously the biggest titles. Like, what do you think about when you first hear about a system? SNES, for me, it's always gonna be Chrono Trigger.
Mine's always going to be Breath of Fire.
But Chrono Trigger is also my favorite game ever made.
Yeah.
N64, it would be either Super Mario 64 or GoldenEye. I played the snot of both.
GoldenEye is one of the big ones. Actually, I got to add one to that. I got to add another game to that. What was it? Perfect Dark. It was actually not a bad game, and
Turok.
I actually played it more.
That's what I was thinking about. Turok, yeah.
I haven't played Turok in forever, man.
That was another big one I was really hooked on that system.
So for me, the next one they have on the list is Game Boy, and they put Tetris, which I can see.
Yeah, I get
But for me, it was Mortal Kombat's the reason why I bought it.
I did play that. I snuck it. That's an easy way to sneak in that forbidden game. It was on my Game Boy. I had that full setup with the magnifying glass, extender speakers, battery, amplifier. Yeah, I did the whole thing.
Sega Genesis. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Never played it.
I've never personally owned a Sega Genesis. I have played Sonic the Hedgehog, but Battletoads is the one I played the most on Sega Genesis. Actually really cool. I actually enjoyed it, but Sonic the Hedgehog, when you ask most people about Sega Genesis, they'll say that or one of the sports. And maybe, just maybe, Street Fighter 2.
The only reason I ever owned a Sega system, and it was a Dreamcast, is it was given to me for the company that I was working for, who was happened to making Quake 3 Arena. And that was the first home game where we allowed for multiplayer across internet.
Did you play Crazy Taxi?
Yeah, of course I did.
They're actually remaking Crazy Taxi?
Yeah, I saw that. I think we talked about the show once.
Think so. But I'm interested to see that game release. It was fun. Sony PlayStation. What game comes to mind when you play Sony
obviously
PlayStation?
Final Fantasy VII.
That is not the first one that comes to mind to me. It's the second. The first one to me.
One game I played the absolute snot out of.
Metal Gear Solid.
I never liked that series.
I did, because it was one of the first games where you had true stealth and you actually had to really look at your actions. And
a lot of people will think of like Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Tomb Raider.
What's that one with Nathan Drake?
I don't see that in the first game because it wasn't in the original PlayStation. Nathan Drake. Crap, now I can't remember the name.
Yeah, yeah, I completely spaced. My son's gonna kill me when he.
Uncharted.
Uncharted. Thank you.
That's in the later system.
Another one that was really big was, I just had it in my head and now I completely spaced it. Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, that was a big one. That was a huge one. Rare actually had a lot of good games for
Rare was one of my favorite studios of all time.
Oh, and N64, Conker's Bad Fur Day. That was also
that was so good. So inappropriate and so awesome. It was the best.
I actually have for Xbox the Rare pack, and it comes with Conker's Bad Fur Day on it.
Rare made one of my favorite fighting game of all time, which was Killer Instinct.
That is actually a really good game. Inferno!
Yeah, just walking into an arcade, hearing that Ultra Combo, and then they changed it on consoles. It wasn't that big, that elongated Ultra Combo. It was Ultra, combo. Oh, come on, really?
Ultra.
Yeah, they echoed it.
Combo breaker.
Yeah, so many classic sound bites on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so good with a few of the characters. I was unreal.
Oh yeah, I was good with Cinder and the Wolf. I wasn't good with many of the other characters.
I used Orchid and Cinder mostly. I like being able to
Uh,
do Orchid's 20-hit combo and just juggle the crap out of people.
what's his name? The Glacier one.
Glacier?
Yeah, he
Glacius
was
or
too
Glacier?
slow.
He
He was
was
too
fun.
slow for me. He was
I
fun, but he was slow.
I really enjoyed doing his juggle combos. And then there was Fulcor, the guy with the blades.
Raptor. There's
Yeah,
also Raptor.
the boxer. I completely forgot his name.
Yeah. Look at us remembering stuff from a game that's old.
Yeah.
PS2. I've never actually played this on PS2. Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec.
I never liked racing games. Never got into Gran Turismo or anything like that.
I liked racing games. I just, at this point in time, when this system was out, I was more into the SmackDown game or the Madden game, stuff like that. I wasn't really into the racing. But PS2 actually has one of my all-time favorite series, Naval Ops Warship Gunner, Naval Ops Warship Gunner 2, Naval Ops Warship Commander. I love those
Okay, I
because you get
take
to
it
build
back
your
with the
ships.
racing theme because there was a game on PlayStation 2 that I was obsessed with, and that was Burnout.
Oh, wait. That had Need for Speed on it.
Hot Pursuit,
Yep.
also an amazing one. So yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was big on PlayStation 2. I played
Is
that
it-
to death.
It was big on PlayStation 2 and N64.
I played on
More
PlayStation
so.
2.
I played it more on PS2.
But yet,
And every time I think of it, I think of the music back then.
PlayStation 2 also was my first, I'm using air quotes here, pro gaming experience. In one of my top 5 favorite games of all time, SOCOM 2 U.S. Navy SEALs. That would be the game I think about when I think of PlayStation 2. SOCOM 2.
SOCOM, yeah, because that is the system it came out on. Also, what are they called? Conflict Desert Ops, Conflict Desert Storm. The Conflict series was also started there. I actually like those games too.
There was so many
Xbox.
good games that came out for it.
Oh yeah, there were. Xbox. When I think Xbox, I think Halo Combat Evolved because that was the biggest Xbox.
Yeah, obviously Halo. I've never owned an Xbox to this day, any version of such, so I really have very limited knowledge when it comes to those.
Xbox, Halo Combat Evolved has a lot of my memories because I was in the military when that released. Me and my buddies would get all of our TVs in this house, go downstairs, hook up our Xboxes into a LAN party, and one of them had a kid. And I'm sitting here playing Xbox, and we're having we're playing multiplayer split screen. And the kid's sitting in my lap, and I'm playing, and the kid falls asleep in my lap while I'm playing this game. And I tend to move around when I play at times. So I'm trying to sit here be gentle while the kid's asleep in my arms and everybody's just looking over laughing. Man, some of the memories you make on these consoles.
Yeah, and the next system that you have listed, the PSP, I actually owned one in the beginning, and I can't remember the name of the game, but there was a Need for Speed game where it was basically drag racing.
I know which one you're talking about.
I played that one to death, and I cannot think of it. I can't even find it on lists.
Let's see. It might have been in Need for Speed Underground.
Yeah, it's Underground.
Yeah, because that's where they entered. That's where you could modify your cars, do drag racing. And the drag racing I really liked because all you had to do was do your shifting and shift lanes. That Need for Speed Underground is one of my favorite racing games because they did well with the game.
Yeah, that was only game I remember with on my PSP.
I played games on PSP and I can't remember what games I played on them. That's
I had a few movies for it.
Those little CD cartridges.
Yep.
So that tells you how influential the PSP was because we can't remember games for it. I never played Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, which is what this website. By the way, the list that we're calling off the names on when we say they have listed here, that is coming from Den of Geek. It's one of their features. It's the biggest system selling video games ever. They have listed Grand Theft Auto, Liberty City Stories, but I don't remember what games I played for the console. And of course, we discussed Wii. We don't agree that Wii Sports is the system selling video
No.
game because it came with the system.
Mario Party or
Mario
Mario
Party is the
Kart.
one I think of
Mario
all the
Kart,
time.
Mario Party. Yeah.
Oh, and Smash Brothers. But
Yes,
that
that
was
was a
also
big
on
one.
GameCube. That was also on GameCube.
I did own a 3DS, and I did actually play Pokemon Y. Not gonna lie, I did for the sake of my son. And I also played what's that one with the animals? You're in a little town, and the money is
Very.
bells.
I have no idea.
Well, I can't. I think of it because I played it with my daughter all the time when she
It's
would come
not Animal
over.
Crossing.
It is Animal Crossing. Yep.
Animal Crossing came out in 3DS.
Yep.
Oh wow.
And we would play it together because we could link them up. It was awesome.
I played the 3DS. I played Pokemon, but I also had a bunch of other games I'd play. But the biggest ones I played. So for me, Game Boy. Once Pokemon came out, Game Boy, Pokemon was the reason I bought the different Game Boys because they didn't put the Game Boy DS. They only put the 3DS. But everything I bought was all the handhelds from Nintendo was because of Pokemon. Xbox One. I don't know this game that well. I don't agree with it.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds?
I know the game. I just
Yeah.
never played it, and that's not the reason I'd buy an Xbox One.
I don't agree with this in any way, shape, or form either.
Halo 4 was the reason I bought the Xbox One.
I never
then
bought one, and I never will. So there you go.
And then finally, the list had the Switch, Zelda Breath of the Wild. I will admit, the reason why I bought the Switch outside of Pokemon was for Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That one I can. That's the only one on this entire list that I completely 100% agree with.
Yes,
Other than the
because-
NES and Atari, those two I agree with too.
Yeah, the Zelda Breath of the Wild is a really good game, and Tears of the Kingdom is a really good game. They knocked it out of the park with that series, with revamping the series that way.
One of these days I'm gonna get a Switch and I'm gonna play Breath of the Wild. I don't really. The only Zelda game I two I really liked was the SNES one, Legend of Zelda. Played the snot out of that one
Of
with
course.
my cousin, and
Link to
of
the Past?
course, A Link to the Past. No, sorry, Ocarina of Time, or
Ocarina.
Ocarina. Thank you. I always mess that up every time. That one I played the snot out of too, but Majora's Mask was garbage, and I haven't played any since.
I don't agree when people say Majora's Mask is better than Ocarina of Time.
People who say that don't know any better. So just forgive them and move on.
Exactly. I forgive you, Dan.
Yeah.
Your brother.
Yeah.
Link to the Past is by far, and Breath of the Wild are by far the best Zelda games I've played.
I want to play
Outside
Breath
of
of the Wild
Ocarina.
too. That's the main reason I wanted a Switch, because I love the mechanic they put into the game I saw. So Breath of
Which
the Wild 2 would be the one I'd actually get on that system.
Tears
if
of
I
the
were that
Kingdom?
one. Yeah, whatever it's called. Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild 2, that's what I know.
Yeah, it's the sequel. Yeah, but
And that's
yeah,
only because of that one mechanic.
so we disagree with majority of these.
Yeah,
But-
the last time we did a list like this, we also completely disagreed with everything they said. And that was when we talked about, it was a superhero thing, I think. Anyway, we
Yeah.
never, I don't know what these people are thinking when they write these articles sometimes. They just don't know.
Now, this is our opinions.
Yeah, by
It
far.
very well, if we look up the data, it very well could be those are the games that the data suggests.
But I can guarantee you, though, that if you went around and asked gamers what game they think about when you bring up a system, most of this list would not be true.
Oh, 100%. Like we said, when we think, that's why we started saying what we think of when we think of these systems, because I don't think of Tetris when I think of Game Boy. I don't think of Final Fantasy VII right off the bat when I think of PlayStation.
Now, mind you, I know Tetris is one of the highest grossing games of all time, and I guess that could be one of the reasons why they get that data. And the data is skewed for the Wii because it was a pack-in game.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think they just went off of data without experience.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to bring up before we close out the show tonight, bud?
I think we talked about everything we have on our list for the first
And
time
under the
ever.
sun. If you guys want to reach out to the show for business, to advertise suggestions, please reach out to us at our email, which is podcastraw@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, aka X, at podcastraw. Our Facebook is Raw Podcast. Our Instagram,
It's Raw Podcast 1.
and our Discord, which is the place to be. Discord.gg/Raw Podcasts. Log on, enjoy it, and enjoy the community. We have the fitness stuff. We have everything nerdy, video games, you name it. Come on in and have fun.
Oh, yeah. And we will, usually, if I remember to do it on time, I will actually put in for ideas for our next show for both Starfield Raw and for Raw and Nerdy. So come on in. That's actually the number one way to reach us.
Yes, it is. You can talk to us directly. I answer pretty much every personal message that comes my way most of the time. May not be right away, but I will get to it. I will reply. You can follow me individually on Twitter and everything else, all the gaming platforms, as @thewigit, THEWIGIT. You can either search that on Instagram and find me, or you can go Author Widget on Instagram.
You can find me nearly everywhere as some variation of Tomcat213, except for Steam and X. I will come up as Rook213, and as I just recently found out on my Blizzard account, Jeremy.Osted for some reason. Or no, that's also what comes up on my Steam account. You can find me that way or Rook213.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.
Y'all stay nerdy.